Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. For today's, I'd like to talk about a farm that takes place in Bitterfrost Frontier. Now this is a Living World Season 3 map, so you're going to need to have access to that content, and you will need to have access to a level 80 character, which might sound obvious, but I'll explain later why I mentioned it here. Other than that, just make sure to have your harvesting sickle ready, and head over to Bitterfrost Frontier at Sorrow's Eclipse Sanctuary Waypoint. From the waypoint, head northwest until you see a bunch of very tall trees. Once you're there, you've basically made it to where you're going to be spending the next 5 to 10 minutes. On your minimap, you should see a bunch of berry icons appearing. Just head to each one and harvest both berry bushes growing there. And that, guys, is basically the entire farm. The berry nodes spawn once per day, per character. This means it's entirely possible to run this on multiple characters and maximize the benefits of the farm. Now the berries spawn a little bit all over the place, but they do spawn in the same place every day. This means it's pretty easy to get in the routine of just following the same path each day to make this as painless as possible. I've even got it to a point where I can watch videos on my other monitor while I do this. Now if you're just starting out, don't worry, the end of this video will be a sped up version of the run that I typically take. So now that we've got some berries, what do we do with them? Well, if you head back to Sorrow's Eclipse Sanctuary Waypoint and head up the stairs, you'll eventually get to the top and you can talk to a vendor called Slooshu. This is the Shamu looking Quaggan with the Unbound Magic symbol above his head. Here you'll notice that the winter berries are actually a kind of currency. Now if you don't know, this is something that's true for all the Living World Season 3 maps. You get a new currency and new vendors to spend that currency on. We choose this map because winter berries are far more plentiful and for the most part spawn in one location. At this vendor you can get an ascended ring, back piece, and accessory. Now these items are considered unique, so you can't get 2 of these rings or accessories. But like I said before, if you have any of the other Living World Season 3 content, you can go to those maps, get their currency, and finish out your trinkets. While all the vendors sell primarily the same thing, the ascended trinkets they have will be different. The stats on these trinkets are also selectable all the way up through Heart of Thorns, so if you're still trying to get some of those stats, this is definitely the easiest way to do it. Now, ascended trinkets are nice, but that's not all this farm is for. This farm can actually get you quite a few things depending on what you need most. In addition to the winter berries, we've been getting Unbound Magic. You've probably already noticed that this is just as much, if not more, a currency than the winter berries. So what can we do with the Unbound Magic? Well, you can buy Magic Warp packets or Magic Warped bundles and get yourself crafting materials. The packets will get you more basic crafting materials, and the bundles will actually get you tier 6 crafting materials. Selling the tier 6 materials could definitely get you a bit of gold, or you could use it on some of the later game crafts. And speaking of endgame crafting materials, you can actually get obsidian shards here for just 100 unbound magic, 96 copper. Compared to other methods, that's kind of crazy, especially when you consider you can do this every day. You can also spend unbound magic and some gold on karmic retribution, which means you'll earn more karma when you're on this map. Now, if you're really only interested in the farm, you're probably not going to do any events here, but just something I thought I'd make mention of for people still looking to get some karma. The last thing I'll mention you can get at the vendor is the Bitterfrost Frontier Portal Scroll and the Living World Portal Tome. And the portal sounds exactly like what it is. Double click it in your inventory and you'll be taken back to Bitterfrost Frontier. Now this is a great convenience, but something to consider is that you can actually give this to other level 80 characters on your account and get them to the farm right away. The Living World Portal Tome holds these portal scrolls, so you can actually get one of these at every map in the Living World Season 3 and use it to fast travel around, even on alternate characters. But if you're only really in it for the farm, you could probably just get away with the Bitterfrost Frontier portal scroll. And this is the reason that I mentioned earlier in the video that you need to be level 80. I actually tried to port my level 20 ranger to the area and do some berry farming, and was denied. So I think the best way to approach this farm is farm berries until you have ascended trinkets on all the characters that you typically play, and then start using the unbound magic to start getting some of these better rewards, either to make money or just to progress your account. And if you eventually get to a point where you have absolutely no use for the berries themselves, they can actually be consumed for more unbound magic. If this small patch isn't enough winter berries for you, you can actually explore a bit more of the map, and there are a few more places you can harvest, but they're pretty out of the way, so I tend to avoid them. Also, a great deal of what you do in these Living World Season 3 maps is going to be rewarded with Unbound Magic. That means if you do want to go for those far off winterberry bushes, you can do that, and just make sure to do events along the way. All around Sorrow's Eclipse Sanctuary, there are going to be braziers that you're going to have to defend. Successfully defending one of these and completing the mastery for the map will allow you to pick up Coda's Flame, or a giant torch, that you can use to melt unbound chests scattered across this map. Unfreezing and opening the chests will give you a wide variety of loot, but also can give you more winter berries and unbound magic. So what it comes down to is how much you want to suck out of this map. For me, switching between alternate characters and just doing my typical route is enough, but for other people you might want to get the maximum you can every day, so I figured I would mention the other means of getting these resources. I will say that if you're gonna do events as well as try and get the most out of the map, be sure to pick up that Karmic Retribution so that you can get some karma as well, unless you just don't need it. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to call this one. I hope that if you were out there curious about the Winterberry farm, that you now know what's going on, and you know that there's a little bit more going on than just the berries themselves. I hope this helps you guys out there if you're trying to find an easy way to get obsidian shards, ascended trinkets, or even just spam magic bundles so that you can get those well-deserved tier 6 materials. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.